This video is going to demonstrate how to turn a ditch line on for your plans and production, and also to deal with the limits of construction. First thing you want to note is that you need to be in your corridor drawing. Okay, so whatever you have as your corridors, you need to be in that drawing so that you can make changes to the corridor and also to the limits of construction line. So in this particular drawing, I am in corridors and the Route 63 project that we currently use. What you need to do with this one, very first thing is you're going to want to have limits of construction that are very accurate, ditch lines that are very accurate. Currently, your corridor is probably set at preliminary, which is going to space your template drops pretty far apart, and you're not going to have as accurate a model as you can get by changing it to final. So the very first thing to probably do is to grab the handle of that corridor, get your heads-up display, go to the properties for that, and change your preliminary, do that little down arrow, and change that to final. When you change that to final, the corridor is going to update, and it's going to get a lot tighter. You're going to see the template drops are going to be really close, and you're going to get a very accurate model, the most accurate you can probably get. So give that a second to run, and you'll see that it now will space those templates really close. Something like that. Okay, then I'm going to select off of the template, off of the corridor, and you'll see I got red handles now. That means that I'm in final design phase or final phase for that corridor. Now to get the ditches to show here, when you create a corridor, it automatically creates that 3D model. So when you hit F6, you get the 3D model of your entire project. Okay, so that gets created in the background, and it is actually a model that's in here, and that model gets referenced in to the background of your default model. Okay, so all these green lines that you see out here, all the ditches, all of that is based off of this reference file. So when I click references files there, I can see that default 3D model, and I can see that it is currently turned on, and that's what I would want. I'd want that to go ahead and be turned on in this file to be able to see my ditches. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and I'm going to zoom in to where my ditches are, and they're along both sides of here. I'm just going to do the one side. I'm going to zoom in close to that ditch. And what you can do is just kind of hover over that, where that ditch location is, and hit the right mouse button until you can get that ditch to highlight. Once it highlights, hit the left mouse button over it, and you can kind of move around just slightly until you get the heads-up display. Once you get that, click on Properties for the heads-up display, and you can see that the feature definition is excess ground proposed. And we want that to be a ditch of some sort. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is select the down arrow for that feature definition, slide up to where I can get to my design standards and drainage. I'm going to open up the drainage and slide down to, I'm going to make this a ditch flow line. So I make that a ditch flow line, and as you can see now, that's exactly what that is. Okay, it's yellow, it's dashed, and it's a ditch. And you can do that to the ditch line just to the inside there. Don't select anything, just hover over it, right click until you get that ditch to highlight, then left click on it, move your mouse just slightly until you can get the heads up display, select the properties, and in the properties here you're going to again change that to a ditch. Okay, so we're going back to design standards, back to drainage, and back to the ditch flow line. Okay, I'm just going to select off in a blank area, and now I have these turned into ditch lines. What I can do is go up to the level display and go down to that default 3D model. I can basically just turn everything off in that default 3D model, and then scroll back up, and since I changed those lines to ditches, now it has a roadway ditches level in here. All I have to do is turn that on, and my ditches will now display in the background. Okay. Once you change levels, you're going to need to go up to the File pull-down menu and Save Settings. so that when you check this file in and you reopen it later on, it'll look like this when you come back in. Okay, and this will also plot out on your plan sheets whenever you run the plan sheet generator. It'll look just like this, and your ditches will be there. The second portion of this is dealing with the limits of construction. Limits of construction are out there automatically. Once the corridor is created, it's already there for you. What we have in this situation is we have our corridor, and then we also have the limits of construction, or the boundary of our corridor. It's basically the same line. The handles and some of the information along the outside edge here are construction elements. Construction elements do not plot, so you can leave them turned on if you want to. Or if you don't want to see those handles or see the lines underneath your limits of construction here, you can go out to the view attributes and just turn off constructions. And that's kind of handy to know if you can't ever find your handles on your corridor. Oftentimes that constructions is turned off, and if you just go turn it on, your handles will reappear for you. But what we have now is this is the limits of construction. You may not like the color or the line type of that limits of construction. It is being controlled by an element template. So to modify the element template for your drawing, you can actually go up to the element pull down, go to element templates, and inside there you have templates that are in your drawing, which is this corridor drawing that you're in. You can expand that, expand out modeling, template features, go to linear, and the one that it is controlling it is this XS_LOC for limits of construction. You can highlight that, and then you can make changes here. If you wanted it to be a green color, you can select the green color and a line type of say 2, and then when you close this dialog box, now all of your limits of construction, even on the other road that we have over there, changes to what you wanted it to be. Okay, and those will plot out just like you see them there. The ditch will then plot just like you see it here. And that is a way to get your ditches and your limits of construction in your file.